Test, test. Guys, welcome to the first training call of the year and your orientation. So guys, purpose of today's call, we're going to jump in and go over just some of the mission statement and also values of the company. We're just going to go through the organizational structure, and we're just going to give you an introduction to Insight, essentially the company that you're going to be selling services on behalf. In addition to that, in the studio with me today, I have 4 very exciting special guests who have flown in from out of province to be here today. So I'm very excited for that. So guys, welcome to the call. We're so glad that you could join us. Didn't expect this many people, so thanks for everybody who was able to jump on. Really excited just to get cranking on this summer and start to get you prepared for what should be something that is truly one of the most memorable experiences you could possibly have over the course of a summer. I know it was for me. Okay, cool. So jumping in, guys, I wanted to start with some background on the company and kind of where we began and what our story is. So Vantage was founded in 2008. It's been a long journey that we've had. We actually started this business in the United States, brought it to Canada in 2016. So this will be our 9th year up here. It actually started in Canada. It was not necessarily a thing. Reoccurring residential pest control services weren't really a service that people commonly had. My wife, my brother, and I were the first 3 that started this program here in Canada. In just a short 9 years, we've actually grown to have over 400 sales reps that we have across the country. And we actually do the fulfillment side of the business as well, which is Insight. And in that business, we have another 150 full-time staff that are year-round. So we're very proud of the growth that we've had, but we're not done. And we're going to talk today about kind of where it goes from here and what that means to you and where you mix into this. So yeah, that's kind of the background. Today, we're at a point where we actually have 80 sales managers that are going to help you on your journey. Their job is going to be to train you, show you the basics on the service, and also kind of help you through the summer. Okay, cool. Moving on. First, I just wanted to jump into our mission statement. So as a company, this is a new one for Vantage Marketing that we came up for this year. So our goal with Vantage is to make Vantage a household name. We want it to just become a movement known across the country. We strive to be a triple threat marketing company in the pest, solar, and telecom industries, a name that is synonymous with quality, creating incredible opportunities for our team and for our clients through explosive business development growth. Canada's premier D2D company, representing premier brands. Knock doors to open doors. Our mission is to have our name open doors for you. The best sales training, the best earning opportunities, the best leadership development. Okay, next, just hitting on our core values as a company. So this is something that we want you to embrace now that you're a new member of our organization. And the first one right off the top is respect the individual. What this means to us at Vantage is that people come first. It's a people business that we're in. Respect all of the customers that you come in contact with, as well as all of your colleagues that you encounter throughout the summer. The next one, competition makes us better. Model a competitive spirit, compete with yourself to get better, and compete to the best of your ability in Vantage's sales competitions. This is just going to make you better. It's going to make you more money over the course of the summer. So just really dig into those competitions because they can help push you forward. Lead by example. You're going to notice that your manager is often the person who is selling the most accounts for your team. That is typical at our company because our leadership group, they really believe in leading from the front and getting in the field and showing you how it's done. They're going to give you hands-on training and also just make this job look easy. Hard work beats talent. This is something that we truly believe. We believe that, and we know from experience, that our top producing reps, they're not the most talented. They're not the ones that come in with a silver tongue or have sales experience. They're people who come in with a consistent effort and commitment, and that translates to production. Okay, the last one. Sales is a skill, not an ability. So like any skill, sales can be practiced and perfected with proper training, repetition, and continual learning. And that's what we're going to provide to you, the rep. Your training is going to be 2-pronged. It's going to be firstly about the service and learning about what you're selling, how it works, what the products are made of, why they're safe, and how it's applied. The other side is going to be learning to sell. So learning about the sales cycle, learning about how to properly go through a sales presentation. Okay, cool. All right. Well, So I just wanted to give an overview of the senior leadership team before we jump in with our guests. So firstly, I just wanted to jump in and give the kind of description of the different regions. In Vantage, there are 3 separate regions. The first one is the Eastern Dynasty region, which is run by Jordan Fiddler and Jordan Earl and spans primarily across Quebec. The second region is run by Tess Dulst, Samo Cebular, Kevin Taddeo, and Matteo Stradiotto. And they go over Ontario as well as Ontario and parts of Quebec. Lastly, the Island region. And the Island region is run by Quinn Pauls. So again, there's going to be inter competitions between these regions, and speak with your leader just about which region you fall in. Okay, last, just an overview of Insight and kind of Insight's track record. So Insight, as a pest control company, is the nation's largest residential pest control provider. As a company, we've done over 303,000 services, and we span 6 provinces. We've become the biggest pest control company residentially purely through door-to-door growth. It's happened very fast, as some of our competitors have been in the space for decades, and we've already surpassed their growth purely with the growth that we have from our sales teams, aka you. Okay, next, we will jump in and we will invite our first guest onto the program. He will be a familiar face for many of you. As we do that, we will watch a quick video that kind of tees that up and sets us off. So we'll jump into that video now, and then I will introduce our first guest.
Are showing up with a vengeance across central Texas after the recent heavy rains we've had. Large mounds, you've seen them popping up everywhere, and pest control workers are busier than ever.
Are very busy treating house after house out here. That's after the recent heavy rains brought out tons of fire ants. It's Go Green Lawn and Pest Control to the rescue.
It's been crazy busy lately. There's just been a lot of calls about fire ants. The rain has just brought out all kinds of bugs.
The recent rains are to blame, flooding out anthills and causing fire ants to reemerge from deep underground.
Okay, guys, welcome back. That video is a little bit embarrassing, as it's very dated, some of it at least. But guys, our first guest today is here from Winnipeg, Manitoba. The first person that we ever hired to be part of the company that hadn't worked with us previously in the United States. The person that really showed that the proof of concept. Before we had this individual in the organization, we knew that we could do it from our track record and experience south of the border. But Quinn, oh, dang it, was the first example of somebody who we knew could do it who hadn't had previous experience. This individual came in and was the pace setter right off the bat. He actually was able to outsell his manager his first year, which was me. And that was something that is quite uncommon, just that a rep who is a rookie outsells his manager. Since then, Quinn has developed teams for us across the country. Quinn is currently a partner at Insight. He's a owner in several of our company's branches, and he is a regional in Vantage. Seeing his growth has been absolutely incredible. So without further ado, welcome to the set, Mr. Quinn Pauls. All right, Quinn, thanks so much, man, for jumping on. I just felt like we had you here, so we just needed to leverage that. And I think that, I'd love you to start with just what you wish you knew before you started. If you could tell your future or the current reps what that would be, what you would have wished you could have been told before you started on your journey that would help them on theirs. So I thought you could maybe start with that.
Yeah, I'd say there's a lot of different things. And I know we say this all the time, but just how hard this job is. Like, it's so interesting because I believe door knocking and selling with insight is, sorry, the mic is adjusting, is it's like the easiest, hardest job, right? At the surface level, we think it's like, oh, we're just walking around talking to people. Like, that sounds super easy. But what's super hard is the grit, the tenacity, the discipline, the consistency that it takes to achieve at a high level. And I have it tattooed on my leg, actually. I got it this past off season, but just like discipline over motivation, right? It's so easy to knock doors and sell pest control when it's easy to knock doors and sell pest control. But 8 years in, this job has not gotten easier for me and in any way, shape, or form. What has gotten easier is the mental ability and the mindset that it takes to achieve at a high level. But it's easy. Like there's a quote. It's like the person that acts based on how they feel will never outperform the person that acts based on what is required. And just like knowing what's required to be successful in this job, controlling the inputs, and then the outputs will fall where they may. So what are some inputs, right? So even things outside of the doors, just like eating healthy, going to the gym, doing these things that will ultimately, you're not really paid to do, but they translate into high sales and just having a high confidence level, energy level when you're out knocking. So yeah, just like understanding, like you guys are in for such a journey with how hard this job is, but just like enjoy it, like love the process and fall in love with the process of door knocking. You know, the best reps get the most no's, right? It's just welcome rejection, just kind of roll with the punches and know that it's going to be hard. But like door knocking, I think a lot of people come in it for the money, but they leave with like the self-development program. It's like a self-development program with a compensation plan attached to it, not a compensation plan that just happens to be self-development as well. So yeah, I would just say, yeah, just yeah, you guys are in for a treat. Like it's an amazing journey, and just yeah, the championships are won in the off season. So the more that you can train, the more that you can practice, the more that you can just hone in. Bug your manager, bug other people that you're coming out with, just to role play, to train, to do anything, and can set yourself up for success this summer.
Oh, that's so well said. I think one of the other things that you talked about kind of before we prep for this call is you just talked about switching your mindset from hourly to production based. Do you want to touch on that briefly?
Yeah. So one thing that I always say with my teams is just like knock your hours, not your doors, right? And the difference between 100% commission job and an hourly job, if you're working at a gas station, right, and Jimmy's working hard or you're working really hard and Jimmy isn't, unfortunately, you guys just both get paid the same amount. In this job, you are able to dictate your income based on your work ethic, and what you put forth is what you get in return. So yeah, I just think it's an amazing opportunity to earn kind of what you're worth, if that makes sense. And really just whatever you put into it. And it's funny because like I always say this, but like wherever you're at the end of the summer in terms of sales is exactly where you deserve to be, whether that's at 300 sales or whether that's at 80 sales or 150. That's just the reality of this job. It's not, no one gets lucky. Like everyone, your place at the end is dictated by what you did in the summer, right? And actually you said this my first year, and I always say it to my reps, is like, I've never heard a sales rep talk about, oh, Quinn, like I wish I wouldn't have worked so hard. Like you just never hear that. There's always more to do. And and going back to the compensation part, is because you have 100% compensation, you have distractions. And that's just the reality of this job. We all have social media, we have Instagram. These are things that as a rookie sales rep can distract you from winning on a day-to-day basis, right? Like when you're having a tough day and you've gone 5-6 hours and you don't have a sale yet, and your buddy texts you, or you want to scroll on Instagram for a second, like these are just the realities of things that can distract you. One of the things that I do when I knock is I just turn all the data off for all my social media. So the only thing that I'm focused there to do that day is just to knock, because nothing is more important than knocking that day. So.
Wow. I feel like there was probably about 10 to 15 quotes that I hope that you all wrote down during that. If not, there will be a recording afterwards. But you can just tell that, why Quinn is a top producer. He just approaches it with the perfect mindset, and that's what allows them to be successful. I would say this about myself, and I would say it about Quinn as well. I don't think we came into it having more necessary experience or skills than the next person. I just think that we were willing to get dirty and just work our guts out and just be humble and just truly take it on as something where we understood that our success or failure kind of rested on our own shoulders, not anybody else's. So Quinn, really appreciate that. There's so many wise words there. I just, again, hope that, everyone caught that. And again, this, something that we're going to have to share in our first correlations. So guys, please help him off the set. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Quinn Pauls.
Oh, shoot. I think I just broke his hand. That was so good, dude.
Wow. Okay, cool. Well, guys, I'm going to keep it moving along here. I just got such a star-studded list of guests here. So the next guest on our show is actually the two-time defending champion as far as production goes. Nobody's outsold this man in the country the last 2 years. Proud to call this individual my business partner. He's an owner in our branch right here in Burlington, Ontario, which encompasses Southern Ontario. This man hails from Guelph, Ontario, by way of Thunder Bay. He is a Laurier grad, a extremely talented individual, and again, our top producing sales rep the last 2 years, a partner in Insight, and also a regional for Vantage. Please help me in welcoming Mr. Kevin Taddeo.
Thanks for having me, man.
My pleasure. Kev, I thought that you could kind of kick things off by just talking about the support and the structure that we have in place at Vantage to help onboard the sales team and what we're going to do to support them in their journey and what that looks like.
Yeah, well, first off, I just want to say that last spiel by Quinn absolutely fired me up.
Yeah.
I hope that everyone else listening on the call is fired up for a big summer. The training program is, it's so all-encompassing here, right?
Yeah.
And one of the questions that, I often like to ask a lot of people that are interviewing for this job is how they learn best, right? Is it, one-on-one practicing with a manager, right? Is it, you prefer to be given the information and just kind of learn it on your own and record yourself? Do you like to train as a team, right? And we pretty well encompass all of that here, right? Soon in the next, coming weeks or months, a lot of the reps will get access to the online internal training program through Pulse, and that has a plethora of videos that have been, shot over the years, from service to sales training, to competition, to goal setting. So there's everything you need to know there. There is obviously Tim Mulcahy's sales superstar. Big shout out, Tim Mulcahy.
Yeah, that's a must. That's salessuperstar.com. And guys, it's free training material. And I needed to interrupt Kevin there. I'm sorry, Kevin, but I need to insist that that's where you begin with your training. www.salessuperstar.com. Go in there, and guys, that can prep you for the summer and tell you what to expect and what your mindset needs to be. So please, please, please go to that website before we turn you into our in-house training. That's actually the first step for your training is salessuperstar.com. Sorry, I said it like 9 times. Sorry, Kev, go ahead.
And one of the managers, whoever's on the call, please post that link in the chat as well, too. And you'll also receive it from all your managers probably 1,000,000 times. That's probably the one piece of training that if there was only one thing that I could recommend to rookies to listen to this, that's the first one, 1,000%. Door-to-Door Millionaire, Lenny Gray, all the audio series there. And then you combine that with the training that happens every single day, right? Because, everyone, obviously, we take this job as a rookie there, and we take it primarily for learning these sales skills and the experience and then also the earnings, and we try and prepare as best as we can. But honestly, as best as you prepare, like the true learning is going to happen once you first knock your door. We do have 2 orientation days on May 6th and 7th, and that'll be a rotation type style at the office where you're working with your managers and learning different stuff. But once you go knock those first doors, that's when you get your teeth kicked in and you realize what it's all about, right? And those daily sales meetings that happen every single day after that is where you're incrementally improving, right? Because we will get very advanced throughout the summer in our sales techniques, but there's no point in throwing all of it at you at the start and be a little overwhelming. Slowly build. I combine that with a lot of the one-on-one mentorship, with some of the managers as well too. I did that as a rookie. We'd like to practice. Mateo, who was my manager in my rookie year, we'd practice in the rep house there as well too, and that was before correlation. So the support that the management provides is absolutely incredible for all the young people here.
How do we become the top rep in the company? Rumor has it you're not going to be able to be in the field full time. So who's going to take that crown, and what advice do you give to the next up and comers who are shooting to be the top rep in the company?
That's tough. Tough to relinquish the title, but I'm excited to watch the race both for the top rep as well as for the top rookie as well too. you got to be a competitor, right? I don't think talent is necessarily what gets you to the top. I mean, if I've been here now going on 6 years, and I've heard the sales pitches from all the managers and experienced reps from across the company, and I can tell you that my pitch is certainly not the cleanest, and I don't think it's the best, and I don't think I'm the most talented salesperson. A bit kind of touching on what Quinn said there, it is a lot of discipline that takes over. It's very, very difficult to beat somebody when they go out there and every single day do at least 4 or 5, right? There's tons of reps in the company that can easily rip off 10 or 15 in a day, but that's not what gets you to the top. It's about being consistent day in and day out. I think maximizing your Saturdays is really huge. I noticed a big shift in that from, it's very easy to cut out at 3 or 4 o'clock on a Saturday when it's at the end of a 6-day work week, but if you really do go until 6, 7, 8 o'clock and rip off 7 or 8 sales on every Saturday, that'll get you there. But ultimately just almost willing yourself to the end is going to be key.
Oh man, I love that. Okay, well that fires me up. Again, I just feel like I need to get out there right now. Okay, guys. Well, hey, please help me in thanking Mr. Kevin Taddeo for joining us today. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Kev. Appreciate it. Okay, awesome. Well, guys, keeping it moving along like that's just good stuff. And guys, I hope again you picked up on that with Kevin. Somebody who's going to have a bit of a hand in just about every office, because we're able to share some of our correlations, our sales meetings digitally. You're going to get a chance to learn from all of the different sales leaders that we have at Vantage. And again, there's over 80. So you're going to be able to get a different style from different people. There's different approaches to this job. And the cool thing is within your personality, you're going to find your own style for this. And you're going to take bits and pieces of what other people are doing. Our next guest is hailing from Squamish, British Columbia. Again, flown in. We actually have the Vantage Manager Conference this weekend, so he's in town for that. This man has worked with the company for 5 years now, going into his 6th. This individual has worked for us in Calgary, and after that, he helped us open our offices in Muskoka, Ontario. He is just an absolute natural salesperson, somebody who, when you talk to him, you understand why he's able to be successful and why he produces. Very charismatic, great pitch, just one of the ones where we love to video it and show it because it is so clean. So please help me in welcoming none other than Mr. Jack McCaig. Jack, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So Jack, I just wanted you to kind of start about your journey and kind of how it begun for you. Because again, I think you kind of just sharing your testimony could be something that could help paint a better picture for our new reps in terms of what it's going to be like for them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, my journey was interesting, to say the least. I started in Calgary under management of Quinn, and in 2020 as well, when COVID was kind of having a big boom. So we were uncertain, and everything was kind of laid out there for us, but we made the best of it, and it was fantastic. Came back my next year, brought a couple friends on. Good year as well, lots of learning, and then my partner, I guess, manager at the time, kind of pioneered the opening of the Muskoka office, which is Ontario's kind of a slice of its cottage country. And yeah, I haven't looked back, and we've done well over there, and it's been great.
And tell us about how it started. So I know that your first year was COVID year, and you kind of look like bubble boys and girls out there, face shield, mask, gloves, hand sanitizer hanging off of your lanyard. How did that go? How did it feel out there? And was it something that was very nerve-wracking to start? And put yourself back in your shoes, before you'd knocked a door, just getting started. What did it look like, and how did it feel to get started? What could you share with them that would help them paint a picture for what it's going to be like for them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was very different. So we had the face shields, we had the hand sanitizer, although we found that not many people, especially in Calgary, really cared that much. But honestly, you just have to come into it with open-mindedness, right? You've taken this job to prove something to yourself, right? Whether it be you want to make a lot of money, or you want to learn sales skills, whatever it is. And with that, go out and prove it and do it for yourself. But it was a great experience, and lots of learning. I mean, for me, I would just say, be confident. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. You aren't the bug guy, or you aren't the cool kid anymore, right? You're now the bug guy. Nonetheless, you'll still have fantastic experiences, meet amazing people along the way, but you really do just kind of have to put the ego aside, become the bug guy, be confident in yourself. It's really one of the key ways to success in this job, for sure.
You've got to be humble. You've got to be humble enough and hardworking enough to make a go of it. And I think one of the things you said prior in the prep was just about like the confidence that you took away from a successful summer. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like I've had a bad summer and I've had a great summer. And the key thing, the rollover from me going into my second year doing it into my third, which was my, coming on my confident summer, was just knowing that you have to put it all out there, like work towards a goal, whatever it is, something that's just going to keep you out there day over day when the going gets tough. You can put on the game face, be confident with what you're saying, knowing that you are the expert in a lot of the situations. And obviously for rookies, that'll come over time. You're not going to be the expert in the first week of selling, but with time it will come, and you just have to remember to keep that in mind, and it will continue to it will make you a great sales rep, hands down.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so well said. Okay, guys, well, hey, we need to keep it moving. I feel like we could keep you on for another 20, but let's help him off the set. Let's give him a round of applause for Mr. Jack McKaig. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Okay, our second to last guest, who's going to speak on behalf of Vantage. We have an Insight guest at the very end that's going to close things off for us. But our last Vantage guest also hails from Squamish, British Columbia, also in town for the manager conference that's going on this weekend at Vantage. This gentleman I think he had the best single day this past year. I believe it was 15 sales in one day, which is more than I've personally sold in one day, I can tell you that. He is also the top manager in the company. He ran the highest producing office last year for us in Edmonton, Alberta, of all places. This individual is now a partner in Insight and also a manager in the Edmonton area for us. And he is a person who this coming year has a very, very large goal that we may or may not touch on in this conversation. So please help me welcome Mr. Noah Veg.
Fire me up.
Noah, thank you so much for joining us. And I think the first thing that we wanted you to touch on is just, again, kind of your background, your experience with the company, and also just kind of talking to us about what your journey has looked like so far.
Yeah, so going into my fourth year in Vantage, Jack forced me to go out with him the 1 year, 2021. And yeah, honestly never looked back. I kind of laughed at him, to be honest with you. He told me to come sell pest control, and I was just like, why would I do that?
Yes.
And then he came home after his first summer, and he's like, I made $20K. They paid for my rent.
Yep.
So
Yep.
kind of a no-brainer.
Yep.
And with the contract values going up, it just, breeds a lot of more money to be made.
Yes. The other thing I wanted you to touch on, Noah, is just kind of the company culture. Like, I feel like you in your office, you guys have designed your own culture. But if you could not only speak to that, but the Vantage culture as an entire organization, what it's like, what it looks like, what defines it.
Family, honestly. You really do feel like you're part of a family when you join Vantage. It's why I stayed, honestly. I was just planning on doing this for like a quick summer job. But the opportunity for growth is unreal, and just everyone that's a part of the company makes you feel like you're part of something huge.
Yeah, I think one thing that's really cool is that on this call right now, there's probably one person at least who's going to be a manager next year. In fact, that's almost a certainty.
Yep.
It's also cool to think that there could be somebody on this call that's a future partner in Insight or at Vantage, and that's really cool to think about too. And I just want you to talk about how that happened for you and kind of like the steps that your journey took to get you there.
Yeah, so started 2021, rookie rep, just like you guys are, and then got promoted to rookie manager my second year with Ray Matthews. Wish he was here today, but we'll see him this weekend. But yeah, we ran Calgary, learning curve like this job is. And last year we ran Edmonton, and yeah, we killed it. We sold $1.6 million in revenue, one top office, our region, one top region. We had the top rookie. Shout out Jeremy Smith. He's on this call. And and then now we sold $1 million, so became a partner.
I love that, dude. And the other thing I wanted you to touch on, and maybe some of your personal goals for this year, if you want to.
Yeah, no, I'll say it.
Okay, good.
Got to speak it into existence.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm winning a Golden Door this year, which is $650,000 in revenue.
Noah and I had the opportunity to go down to Utah this past year, and yes, there is a large conference for this kind of thing, and awards are handed out for certain production levels, and the prestigious Golden Door in our industry in pest is achieved at $650,000 in revenue generated by a single rep in a single year. To date, in Canada, it has technically never been awarded. Now, Jordan Earl has actually sold enough to warrant this, but that was kind of before we knew about this. And so he's never actually been awarded that award, although he did earn it. Now at the new threshold, Jordan hit it at 500. This new threshold of 650,000 would be very special for us. I know that you also have a goal for the rookie reps. Could you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So Samo Sebular, was it 2019?
Yes.
Yes, he holds the rookie record right now for earnings, which is 80K. And all records are meant to be broken. Someone on this call is making 100K this summer, and it really comes down on who wants it the most. Who's going to come in the most prepared? You got to use your resources before the summer. Train as much as you can. Train all throughout the summer. Never stop training. That's something like I still do in the off season, and I'm 4 years deep. Just never stop training. And yeah, someone's making 100K this summer as a rookie.
It's been a big Vantage goal for several years now. We've really wanted to have our first 100K rookie. We're really hopeful that we can help somebody get there this year. If we have somebody come in with the right work ethic and the right attitude, we feel like it's possible based off of what we've created with our company culture and our training. It only continues to go up in terms of our production, so we feel it's time. We're sick of Samo carrying this belt around, dude.
It's possible, and it will be done this year.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, hey, please help me in thanking Mr. Noah Vag for joining us today. Thanks, Noah.
Get me on the doors.
Okay, cool. Guys, we do have one last final guest, and he's actually going to speak on behalf of Insight, which is, again, the company that we're selling services on behalf. So this man in our organization wears an incredible amount of hats. He's actually currently behind the camera producing this thing right now. In addition to that, he runs a lot of our back-end development. He cooked up these pre-videos that you watched on the call. He also is a partner in Insight. He helps work with our entire service team just to make sure that Insight is not only the biggest residential pest control company in Canada, but also the best. This individual also hails from Guelph, Ontario. He is also a Laurier grad. Please help me in welcoming Mr. Matteo Stradiotto to the show.
All right, happy to be here.
Matteo, thank you. I appreciate you jumping on.
Yes, sir.
So I wanted you to talk about why Insight. Why is this something that people want to sell? What is it? What do we do? What does the service look like? So please.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm obviously a huge fan of Insight, and maybe I'm a little bit biased. We simply provide the best residential pest control service in Canada. Our technicians are the best equipped. They're the most well-spoken. And we want to make sure that you guys can go out there and provide a service that you genuinely believe in. We want to have a great company culture, not only on the sales side, but on the service side as well. And it's been a challenge. We've doubled in size literally every single year since we started, which, we have to plug these holes in leadership. We have to hire on these new technicians. So it's a massive effort that occurs in the off season that kind of happens behind the scenes, so that we can be prepped for you guys to come in May and just get off to a running start.
Yeah, it's really cool. And could you talk about just some of that expansion to different provinces and what that's looked like, and also just talk about kind of the growth on the fulfillment side and just how that's had to keep up to sales?
Yeah. So when we started in Ottawa, we might have had a handful of technicians, maybe less than 10, and that was back in 2020. The year after that, we expanded into Southern Ontario here, so we have Burlington, which then expanded to Pickering as well. The year after that was Vancouver and Quebec.
Yep.
And then the year after that, we opened up in both Calgary and Edmonton, and then also in Halifax. Am I missing any?
I think you nailed it.
Yeah. And so in that short period of time, we've done over 300,000 services at people's homes. We have tens of thousands of customers across the country, in different time zones. We have over 8,800 reviews nationally, averaging 4.8 stars. And, a lot of what sales is, and you know this better than anyone, is just belief, right? So if you believe in yourself, you believe in your sales trainers, and you believe in what you're selling, you're going to have an awesome summer. So if we can hit those things and, we can come in and you guys can make us look good after selling a rock solid account and we can come through and just knock the customer's socks off, man, that customer's going to stick with us for a long time. And, we're not just building this to throw people on the route and see what sticks. We want to build this monolithic enterprise that's going to take over pest control in Canada. And in this short period of time, we've become the largest residential provider of pest control in the country.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy to think. And the last thing, Mateo, before we let you go, could you just talk about the importance of understanding the service and the technical knowledge and why that's important that a sales rep learn all this stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So customers will test you sometimes, right? They're going to ask specifics about what are the products we're using? Are they safe, right? And there's this flicker that happens behind your eye, and they know if you know your stuff or not, right? So if we can be like the mechanic that just gives you 5 seconds of some intense technical knowledge, and the person's like, whoa, okay, this guy, this girl, they get it. I'm in good hands here. We want to be perceived as an expert in our field, and the only way you can do that is by knowing what you're talking about. It's going to take some time to get there. Your managers are a great resource for this. We've got lots of online study material. You don't need to talk about the chemical formulations of the products regularly, but hey, if someone puts you on the spot and you can pull that out of your back pocket, you look like a professional.
I love that. And why does it make sense in Canada for somebody to have this service, and why is it safe?
Yeah, so first, why do we have the service? Well, we have 4 pure seasons here in Canada, right? So we have this massive fluctuation from hot to cold, which means we get all sorts of different pests. And a one-time treatment up here, because of the safety of the products, just isn't going to cut it. The classic line is you could go down in Texas or Mexico or somewhere like that and just nuke the place and it'll glow at night, and for 10 years nothing will live there. But we want to be respectful of the environment. We want to make sure our customers and our technicians are happy and healthy. And so the way to do that is to provide a seasonal service offering that breaks up the nesting, hatching, feeding, and breeding cycles that these insects and rodents have. And just being on call throughout the year, things will pop up. Someone might need a wasp nest taken down, but they originally signed up to get pavement ants taken care of. So we're the one-stop shop for that stuff. And of course, we're not doing those bigger critters, squirrels and that. But, if someone has anything that's creepy and crawls, we're on it, right? If they get mice in the winter, but we're originally hired to take down a wasp nest in the summer, we're going to go out there and do that no charge. And if it doesn't work, we'll come back for free until it does.
Sign me up. Okay, awesome. Well, guys, we'll let them get back behind the camera now. So please, again, thank Mateo for joining us. Appreciate it, man. Okay, guys, we're just going to close off here, and we're going to let you jump off the call. I know it's getting late. And again, we appreciate everyone attending today's call. Again, I just wanted to put you in the right direction as far as where you should be going to get your training. And right now, guys, it's just salessuperstar.com. You can read that, and you can also listen to it on audio. Again, it's free. It's on there. We're lucky at Vantage that we have a relationship with the author who wrote it. He will likely be on our podcast. Quick plug for that. It's the Opportunity Knocks podcast, hosted by guess who, Mateo. We dropped some new episodes actually today, so definitely get on there and check it out. You can find it anywhere where you get your podcasts, as they say. And guys, so I just wanted to hit lastly before, again, we let you go, just on a few goals that we have coming up for this year. It's kind of crazy to say because when we started this thing the first year, we did only 1,000 sales as an organization total. This coming year, we're shooting to do over 35,000 new customers purely on the doors, purely by sales reps going out and creating that business out of thin air, which again is a pretty magical experience to happen for the first time. You're always going to remember your first sale, and you're always going to remember your first day. My last closing piece of advice to you is before you come out is just really just go all in on this. Be relentless in your training. Pick the brain of your sales manager. I think I was the most annoying rookie sales rep in the history of pest control because I just would not leave my manager alone. I followed him around everywhere, asking a million questions. I wanted to practice my rebuttals. I wanted to practice my pitch. I recorded my pitch with my phone. I would play it back over and over and over until I had it perfect. There's 2 parts. One is like learning what to say, but then the other side is learning how to say it. And you've really got to be able to perfect both. And some of that learning how to say it is only going to come through repetition. You have to practice saying this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again in order for you to be successful. The learning curve is going to take you a couple weeks. Your first couple weeks, you're not going to be very good at this job, and you're not going to sell that many accounts. That's normal. But you can lessen that learning curve from now until the season begins with all the prep that you put into this job. So I'd really encourage you to get cranking on that. Your training will be on Pulse, which again is our internal platform. It's going to track all of our incentives that happen throughout the summer. Our incentives are basically sales tournaments. It's going to be an opportunity for you to compete individually and then also within teams. We have some pretty cool prizes. What do? We do MacBooks, we do Segways. What else do? Do we do a Tesla? I don't know if we're doing that again. Okay, full disclosure, we may or may not doing that. And we also have a year-end trip, that's right. So there's a lot on the line, not to mention your personal sales commissions. But again, I think one takeaway that you probably got from this call is it's not all about the money. It's also about the experience and the culture and the connections that you're going to form this summer. You're going to be mixing it with some of Canada's most ambitious and outgoing and personal students in the country. That's typically who we attract, as you may be able to tell based on our guests today. We're so excited and so fortunate to have this opportunity with the people who have built this company. And we're so excited to make 2024 our best year yet. We know it's going to be. We've been able to double the size of the company every year since inception. We're planning to continue that trend. We're also excited as an organization to get into other industries. We've actually recently signed a marketing agreement with TELUS, and so we're going to be able to sell their services. That'll be something that's kind of coming down the pipeline. In addition to that, we've signed a marketing agreement with a solar company. So we're going to start selling solar panels in the future as well. So we're really excited about the growth and the development of our company, and we're so glad that you've chosen to work with Vantage for the summer. We're going to do everything that we can to ensure that it's the best summer that you've ever had. Cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate it. Let's give a round of applause to the whole team that's still sitting around me here. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.